I'm Angela Richkuski. I'm the landscape maintenance supervisor here over at Vande Hey's. And we are right now in the middle of our winter pruning season. So we are going around and cleaning up trees and shrubs, making sure they have the best structure possible for the specific species and cultivar, and in general, doing what we can in the winter to make the landscape that much more appealing throughout the year. The first things that we look at when we are working with a tree or shrub for winter pruning is the 3Ds. So any branches that are dead, have disease, or are damaged. So if they're broken or cracked or have a canker, or clearly there were insects eating on them during the season, we'll make those cuts first. We'll also then start to thin out any growth that is very vertical or upright. Like you can see on this one that there's quite a bit of that weak growth going straight upright from the trunk. So we'll clean that out, and from there, then we'll be able to see a lot better which bigger cuts we should make for structure. When you are making your pruning cuts, you'll usually aim for just below where you see another bud coming out, or just another branch. So not cutting far into a trunk or into the branch, but just enough so that you can see the tissue, the branch collar is able to form around and create a nice healthy scar tissue. So you don't want to cut too far into a trunk or too far into a stem or leave bark dangling, because that just leaves, well, it's unsightly, but it also leaves the tree vulnerable if it can't heal quickly. So if we show up to a site, we make note of the species, we'll always do some of the same cuts for dead, disease, damage. But if something is going to be flowering in April or May, like a forsythia or a lilac, we will only make cuts to thin and do some structuring. We will never head those back unless there's a specific request. We'll never head those back because we don't want to impact the spring flowering display. Those we will wait until after spring flowering to prune. And then there are a few trees that we will only prune this time of year, like oaks, just because we do not want to encourage the spread of oak wilt disease, and the insects that spread that are active during the spring, summer, fall months. So we hold off until November to start pruning our oaks. So one thing that we do here at Vande Hey's, and I recommend anyone who's pruning on their own in the winter or any time of year do, is regularly disinfect and sharpen your pruning tools between plants in particular, or if you are doing several of a specific species right next to each other before you jump to a different part of the landscape. You can just take rubbing alcohol or just disinfectant in general and spray your tool down or wipe your tool down, and then just regularly sharpening it will help you to make nice, clean cuts. It's really important to us here that we treat our tools well and make sure we don't spread disease within a site or between sites, so I highly recommend that. Thank you for tuning in, and if you have any questions about winter pruning or winter work, please reach out and we'll be in touch.